I'm still working on Victor Victrola 70586, was it? Yeah, 86. The Victor Victrola 6. Got the motor clean. Was working on the springs when I noticed something. Actually, I noticed this when they were actually out of the barrels. What do you notice here? It's always a surprise you take these motors apart. One spring is very obviously bigger than the other. At some point in the past, this machine broke a spring and it was replaced with this one. This one is a Victrola original. Victor original. It's got a kind of a plum color to it. That was pretty common with Victrola springs going way back. While most of the replacements tended to be just, steel colored. Doesn't matter. Color has no bearing on whether it works or not. Anyway, what happens when you put two different size springs in the same motor is that it'll only wind to the capacity of the smallest spring. So even though you have a larger spring on the other side, you're not getting the use out of it. You're just getting whatever this will allow it. And also you end up with one spring with lots of power and one spring that is usually weaker. That is definitely the case here. I could tell when they were out. This spring was noticeably kind of limp, while this one was the one that was carrying whatever playing this machine was doing. Now, you really should always replace springs in sets. If it's a 4-spring machine, replace all 4 springs. 3 springs, replace them all. 2 springs, replace them all. The only time you can get away with 1 spring is a single spring machine. And these barrels, this is the same size barrel they used on the smaller single spring you find in the Victrola for 4. I know there was a triple spring motor, I think used these also, which is probably what this goes to. And also with Victrolas, I've noticed that the more money you paid for a machine, the bigger, more powerful spring you got. The smallest spring, this size, shows up in the 4. And then it shows up again in the 6. You got 2 of them. This spring over here, I believe, shows up in the 8. It is a bit longer. I've noticed that the springs I take out of I forget the size of them, but they're longer. More coils, more power, same barrel, just a bigger spring. So what I'm going to do here, I went into my spring supply, and I found 2 new springs. That's why I always buy this stuff when I find them. I think I picked these ones up at the very last Wayne, New Jersey phonograph show. They were erroneously marked Victor Victrola 50, which they're definitely not, because the Victor Victrola 50 has a hook on both ends, while this one has the pear-shaped eye on both ends. This is obviously for an older machine. Somebody didn't know what they were. They put the wrong tag probably many, many years ago. But they're a matching set. That's going to give this Victrola 6 the power of an 8. So, and these springs will go back into the supply to be used on some other project. At least this one will. I don't think I'm really going to use this one on anything, but this one will be used, in the next 4 that I do maybe, or something like that. Victrola the 4th. Everything else is all right. No surprises there, just normal stuff. Just the minute I open a spring barrel, I could see the color difference even through the grease. As somebody only replaced the 1 spring. Not good. Gonna have to do something about that. And we are, or I am. There you go.